Good morning, everyone. I want to do a little soft introduction here. I know we don't start our ceremony till 11, but I wanted to bring on a couple of students that are going to do a great job for us here today. They're volunteering their time. We have Elise Warnicki and Liam Rowley, who are going to sing America the Beautiful for us to give us a little soft introduction. So give them a warm applause, round of applause.
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrims' feet who stern impassioned stress, a thoroughfare of freedom beats across the wilderness. America, America, God shed thine every flaw, confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law.
Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life.
America, America, may God thy goals refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. That was awesome. Elise and Liam, like I said before, they're volunteering their time, so we really appreciate it. They're actually on their way to class now, which is why they're beating feet. So thank you again. So my name is Jose Alferez. I'm the manager of Veteran Services here at College of DuPage. We want to start out not only welcoming you, but there's plenty of seats. So if you're gonna be here for the ceremony, you're welcome to sit down. Please go ahead and join us. If everyone can please stand, we will commence our Veterans Day ceremony with the posting of our national colors and the singing of our national anthem. Performing our national anthem today is one of our own College of DuPage staff members, Eric Flores. Eric, if you can join me on stage. And our color guard is provided by East Aurora High School Naval Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps and is coached by Chief Mike Lakowitz. Color guard, parade the colors.
Ready, two, ready, all, three, and others. Ready, one.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ready, one, left or right, face, forward, march. Ready, two, three, and arms. Ready, two, up, and forward, march. Ready, two, forward, march.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. The East Aurora High School houses the largest NJROTC unit in the nation. They have approximately 725 student cadets. The unit's drill and color guard teams are 7-time Area 3 champions. East Aurora NJROTC celebrated its 20th anniversary this year, earning 15 consecutive Distinguished Unit Awards. And in the 2015-16 school year, the unit reached a milestone not achieved since 2007, earning the status of Distinguished Unit with academic honors. Today's color guard participants were carrying the American flag, Cadet Chief Petty Officer Jasmine Arreguin, carrying the Navy flag, Cadet Ensign Sandra Webb, carrying the left rifle, Cadet Senior Chief Petty Officer Montserrat Pitts, and carrying the right rifle, Cadet Chief Petty Officer Wendy Lopez. So let's give them a round of applause. Our keynote speaker today is Vice Admiral retired and current College of DuPage President, Dr. Anne Rondeau. Dr. Rondeau is past president of the National Defense University, which is a consortium of 5 colleges and 9 research centers in Washington, D.C. Dr. Rondeau has served as Deputy Commander of U.S. Transportation Command in Illinois, Pentagon Director/Chief of Staff for the U.S. Navy Staff, Commander of Navy Personnel Development Command in Virginia, and Commander of Naval Service Training Command at Great Lakes, Pacific Fleet Staff Chief of Staff in Hawaii, Commanding Officer of Naval Support Activity in Tennessee, and other staff and commanding responsibilities with policy, support, and student service. I'm very energized by her commitment to our students, not just our student veterans, but about nearly the 30,000 students that we have on campus. So please help me in welcoming Dr. Anne Rondeau.
Good morning. It's a great day and a day of joy. We talk about Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and I always make a distinction between the two. For Memorial Day, it's about the sacrifice of service. For Veterans Day, it's about the service of sacrifice. And so today, I talk about this day of Veterans Day as a day of joy, camaraderie, and remembering that first day that we walked on board the training command, wherever that was, and said, I'm not quite sure that this was the best idea. And then you go through that training and you begin to say at the end of that training, I wonder if I'm ready to meet the mark. And then you go back and then you go to your first place, and the first person you see, whether or not that's the NCO or that is the new lieutenant or whoever it might be, commander, and you say, you know, this is going to be a really important day because I'm going to have to figure out if I really want to be here, and what do I do to meet the measure and the mark? So for those of us who have done combat, and who have served in combat duty, I say to you, amongst all of us who have served in the military, you are also your own breed. For those who've served in combat, nothing smells the same, nothing sounds the same, nothing looks the same after you've been through the crucible of that experience. For those who have been in the support of those who have been in combat, nothing ever quite feels the same about how you support somebody else to succeed. Nothing else feels quite the same with regard to a sense of what it means to connect to my shipmate, my comrade, and who it is that I am. Because in the end, being a veteran is a profoundly human experience. We change aircraft. We change power systems. We change electronic systems. We change adversaries. But what stays the same is who we are to each other. So one time I was challenged about women in combat. And I was asked, don't you think that women in combat will distract men and make more men die? And my comment was, you do not understand the military. For brothers have died for brothers for thousands of years. Because in the end, it's about that comrade who walked with you, marched with you, fought with you, and who served with you, who laughed with you, who had that conversation with you about what life means and about what love is. And that's the person who I will serve with and who I will die for. But more importantly, this is the country that this military that is the best military in human history, the most ethical, the most deadly, the most lethal, the most effective, the most positive, and the most profoundly democratic in the history of mankind. And that we who have this obligation of service, we who wear the cloth of the nation, we who understand that uniform is on our back is not our uniform, it is the nation's uniform. And that we carry on us that profound reminder that inside, who we are on the inside matters to us as leaders. But what we wear matters to us as soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, Coast Guardsmen. And so there's this profound integration for veterans. I am what I am supposed to be to the other, but I am who I am within me as myself, and I must bring those together, and always with this sense: today is not for me, today is for someone else. You wake up, today is for someone else. Today is for my teammate, my fellow soldier, Marine. Today is not for me. Today is for the nation. Today I do not walk in the path of someone who I was. I walk for others around me. And today I might serve, and I might serve in a very supportive way, or I might serve by flying a plane. I might serve by going out there with my small arms and going point. But what happens is I'm always doing that for the other. There's a profound sense of that other within us. And so you go over to the memorials of our nation, our military and veterans memorials. And yes, the granite is there, the marble is there, the statues are there. But what is profoundly effective is the people who are there who are looking at those memorials. They are the friends and the families of others. They are also those who would stand there and say, could I have done that? Could I, or I have done that. But the human reaction in front of those memorials is what profoundly affects me. The statues are there to note the past, but the people who are there are who note the future. So for the veterans here, thank you for your service. For those who are supporting the veterans, thank you for that, because this is profoundly human. And so today we talk about Veterans Day, because this nation made a commitment a long time ago that our character as a nation will be known in part by how we commemorate and celebrate those who serve. And so I also say to you as a veteran, on behalf of all of the veterans to America, thank you. This nation has come to a point of understanding what military service is, and we are treated very, very well. We are treated with the appropriate amount of honor that is critical, scrutinizing, and discerning, but always now respectful. So I thank the Americans and this nation, and I thank the globe. You know, I once talked to a Marine who had fought in Afghanistan, and they had a hard battle that day, and they were indeed tired, worn out, and pretty beat up. And this Marine officer saw a little girl running out in front of him on a street that had just been a scene of battle. And he saw her, and he saw that she was disoriented. And he got out, took off all of his headgear, and he took off everything that he had so that he had a human face. He took off his gloves, and he went over to her, took her hand, and asked, "Where is your mother?" And the Marine officer took that little girl to her mother, and her mother said to the Marine, "Thank you. You're the first smile she has seen in many years." That is about us. To think that man could have that Marine, man, woman, or otherwise, that Marine could have been in a bloody battle a half hour before, he touches the hand of a little girl and gives her kindness. That is what the United States military is all about. We have the head of a fighter and the heart of a democratic leader leading the world in a moral and ethical way. There are a million stories of this kind. There are 30,000 stories every day with our students here, and over 1,000 of them are with veterans and by veterans. And so it is my honor today to be here in front of you. This is a day of smiles and of joy, and a day of incredible pride, Because not only has the College of DuPage made a commitment to veterans by what we do every day to support them, but all of us here today in the atrium where the sun is shining in America, this is a great place to be and a great time to be proud. And so I stand before you as a voice, as a face, one of 1,000 more who are here and one of the millions who have served on the globe. Today is a day of joy because today we honor heart, head, service, and service to the other in ways that are quite remarkable. I am proud to be able to say that I stand alongside those who serve today and those who will serve tomorrow and those who have served in the past. I am proud to be able to say that when a breeze touches me and I think for a moment, I think about the spirits of those who have come before me and who will come after me. I think about the legacy of the past and the extraordinary promise of the future, and I say this to you. Your military today is in fabulous shape when it comes to all of our people, but our nation is fragile if we do not remember those who have given and lived and won and at times sacrificed. So I thank you on behalf of all those who are here, all those who are not, and all those who will be. I thank you for what you've done today to give us the grace of your honor, to give us the grace of your joy, and to give us the grace of the privilege of continuing to serve you as veterans and as citizens and as Americans. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nobody saw that, right? All right. So I wanted to share a personal story with my interaction with Dr. Rondeau. I had the privilege of accompanying Dr. Rondeau to the state fair this year. She was honored by Governor Rauner as the keynote speaker. And at the time, that was the first time I'd had a chance to speak with her in length, quite length. I think it was 16 hours, ma'am, if I'm not mistaken, that we spent that day. But one of those times we had a little bit of lag time between events, and we had the chance to sort of walk around the state fair a little bit. She said, Jose, do you want to go see the stables? I said, sure, yeah, let's go see the stables, ma'am, right? So we're going through the stables, and we're walking through some cattle. We're walking through some cattle babies, and all the stuff that they leave behind, right? And as we're walking through that, I'm following behind her. I'm thinking, yeah, this is a leader that's a real deal, because she's very willing to walk through the stables without a problem, and then go up on stage an hour later and give a presentation. So I'm very happy that she was able to join us today and do that presentation. So, thank you. If we can take a moment here, I know there's some veterans in the room, and obviously I can't recognize each of you individually, but if you wouldn't mind standing, and everyone please join me in a warm welcome and round of applause for those. Thank you. Thank you. And you'll notice some of them wearing a red, white, and blue ribbon. Those are our staff members here at the college and faculty that are also veterans. And there's some along the wall that we're already standing. But I was talking to an individual this morning who told me a great story of not just academic success here at COD, but also actually finding love, right? So I was talking to Sergeant Julius Hansen, who's sitting here in the front in the Army uniform in the beret, and we were talking about his experience here at COD. And if you get a chance today, I'd welcome you to approach him and talk to him about that same story. But part of the reason I wanted to single him out was because I often find it a little difficult to identify veterans that have come and gone through COD that can give me a story to encourage the veterans that are currently attending. And Sergeant Hansen, if you don't mind me calling you Sergeant Hansen, I know it's been a while, but Sergeant Hansen nevertheless, it really has a great story of not only coming to COD and getting an education and moving on to Lewis University and NIU and being very successful, and actually currently being the Director of Public Works here in the city of Glen Ellen, but he actually found love here. He actually met his wife here, and you know, so those types of stories are stories that I really love sharing with our community, but also those veterans that are coming behind you that really sometimes need that encouragement and that support. So thank you for being here today. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yep. So before I conclude today's ceremony, I want to tell you about some of the individuals that we have around the atrium today. To your right, we have, to your right and rear actually, we have a couple of organizations, supporters of our military community, that are representing some of the great resources that we have to offer here in the area. Organizations like Follett's Bookstore, who's here, Operation Support Our Troops America, the Chicago Lighthouse, Midwest Shelter for Homeless Veterans, and the College of DuPage Student Veterans Association, which is in the back, and actually that's all student-led, so it's one of the clubs here on campus. And their main mission is to encourage other student veterans to get engaged on campus and get engaged in their community, and they do great work, so I really would encourage you to throw your support their way, whatever that means to you. It may be time volunteering with an event that they are running, or you know, financial support for something that they're putting together, but whatever it is, just go over and say hi to those guys and gals. And we also have Operation Supply Drop. Now, this is a very unique organization that I wanted to single out. So traditionally speaking, at least my time in service, whenever we would get care packages overseas from family members and communities and churches, it was things like, you know, you name it, personal hygiene products or cans of tuna and mac and cheese. By the way, all very greatly appreciated when you're in the middle of the desert with nothing else. But this organization actually puts together packages that include Xboxes, Wii systems, Game Boys, video games, you name it, computer games. And the point is that our troops forward deployed, very different than it was, let's say, during the Gulf War, right, or Vietnam, or even wars before that. These individuals sometimes have the opportunity to actually have TVs and video games and that sort of things to pass some of the time and bring a little bit of home back to them forward deployed. So the organization's here collecting. We're going to be collecting until about Wednesday, and then we'll cut it off then. But if after that you still want to make donations, we'd be happy to take those from you and the Student Veteran Services Office here in 2225. Now to your left, we have a display, set of displays for military uniforms. The only one we're missing is Army. However, Sergeant Hanson's here, so he's there. He is. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. I planned it just like that. That was completely planning on my part. But at 11:30, we're also going to be doing the read-in, and this is the 10th annual read-in, and that will be in SSC 2201, which is right behind you over to your left. And the reading is essentially people sharing stories of their personal time in the service, or family members sharing their time, their experience with family members that they had serving. It's a really great emotional program. I would suggest that if you have even 10 minutes to come out, listen to a couple speakers. It's going from 11:30 to roughly 1:30, so we'd really like to see you out there. Now, we'd like to end our ceremony by honoring one of our college's most precious resources, and that is our veteran faculty, staff, and COD student workers. Now, most of them are sitting in sort of this front section here, but a lot of them, like I said, have the red, white, and blue ribbons. Some of them don't, and that's okay. But what I'd like to do at this point, as I'm concluding the ceremony, is have all our staff, faculty, and student employees come up to the front of stage. We're going to have you on stage, in front of the stage, to get one picture to commemorate this event. So as they're making their way up on stage, I'd really appreciate everyone being here today. I know you could be doing a lot of other things, especially our staff that are very busy serving our students, but thank you for being here, and have a great day.